Where's my man Gary Breck at? Gary Breck in the house?
I'm here.
Come here, boy. How many of you guys have never heard Gary Brecker? Raise your hand really quick. Oh, well, Gary's actually not speaking. Gary's actually, come on, give me a hug, baby. What's up, man, friend? This is my boy right here. Guys, I'm telling you, today is, how many, is that not amazing? It's like you're literally sitting at the feet of Jesus and you're just like, oh my God, this guy is so good listening to John. I brought Gary up. Gary's going to introduce one of my really, really dear friends. We were actually on the phone a couple days ago for about an hour and 15 minutes on the way over. I live in Birmingham on the drive here. I'm from this area. But Gary's going to introduce Tracy, and then after Tracy gets done, Gary's going to come up and just drop some more bombs when it comes to health. Go ahead, my friend.
Let's go. Hey, guys, Gary Brecka. It's amazing to be here. I recognize a lot of faces, and I know a lot of you don't know who I am. I'm a human biologist, a biohacker, and a researcher. And Tracy's about to take the stage and talk about something that's a really overlooked concept in modern medicine, and that is just the value of hydration and water in the human body. And as simple as that sounds, and we all know that we're 85% water, but what a lot of us don't realize is that every single person in this room, your body manufactures 100 gallons of intracellular water every day. And when I say that to people, they go, there's no way that my body makes 100 gallons of water. I only drink a half a gallon of water. So how is that possible? Because we do it the same way that they do it, that NASA does it in space. We take two hydrogens and one oxygen, we slap it together, and we throw it into the cell, into a little organelle called the mitochondria, and we manufacture water. You don't have enough hydration in 30 days. You could not drink enough water in 30 days to power your body for 10 minutes. So if you didn't take gases and turn them into water, you wouldn't survive for more than 10 minutes. Oxygen is more important because it creates water inside the cell than because of the gas that we breathe. So she's going to take the stage. She's as talented and intelligent as she is beautiful. She has a PhD. I mean, this is one of the most intelligent, prolific women that I have met in the biohacking space, and I want to just edify her and welcome her to the stage.
Come on, stand to your feet. Welcome my friend Tracy Duhs, guys. Come on. Woo!
Woo, it's slippery. Hey, thank you. Wow, what an introduction. I feel so blessed. I'm Tracy Duhs, as they said. I study intelligent hydration. Now, it's interesting because, whoa, I almost just fell in the crack. When I meet people for the first time and I tell them what I do, my job description, often their eyes glaze over and I lose them immediately. They're like, how do I get out of this conversation? I don't want to hear anything about science. Until I let them know that my research is focused on aging. We all care about how we look, right? And how we age and our performance. Then they want to be my best friend. They're like, who is this person and how do I know more about how to age well? So, see, how do I get this clicker working? What? It's on the side? Oh, okay, there we go. Wait, I don't see it. All right, there we go. So hydration is helping preserve youth, activate vitality, and that's what I study. So are you guys interested in that? Yes. Do you want to know how to look young? I call it the juicy drip. This is the juicy drip, right? Like, it's the drip of life. We all want to look good. We want to feel good. We want to have all of that drip. So I owned a functional wellness clinic for the last 17 years. I started it when I was 12. But what I noticed with my patients was that their biggest fears were two things: death and aging. Nobody wants to get old. And I used to have these intense protocols with my clients, like taking them on these journeys of detoxing and pills. I mean, you guys have probably been on these, right? A detox, a juice cleanse, pills. Till one day, I realized in my PhD program that we're made of 99% water. And I was like, wait a minute, 99% water? Okay, I've always heard we're like 70%. We're 99% at the molecular level. Now, you might wonder why you're not a puddle of water on the floor if that's the case, right? That's a pretty valid question. So I wondered the same thing. But that's because when you drink water, water is in a chaotic state. It's like these H2O molecules bouncing around in your cup. So what's interesting, though, is our bodies are so intelligent. They are divinely created. You are a divine creation. You know that? You are not an accident. Every single hydrophilic surface in your body is converting H2O into crystalline structured water. You are a crystalline structure. When you look at a snowflake, all of the molecules in your body, the water molecules, are coming together in this coherent structure, like holding hands, coming together to make a beautiful formation of who you are. The inside of your cells is creating this structure now. Thomas Cowan, who's a researcher, really believes that cancer and disease and aging are because inside of our cells, the crystalline structure starts to liquefy because of stress, caustic, toxic environment. And so this is what I research. I research this crystalline structure that we are. And I'm sure you guys have heard of Masaru Emoto. Anybody heard of him? Raise your hand. Right, he's pretty cool. And he brought to our attention the fact that our human consciousness, our thoughts, and our words can actually affect water. So think about this. Look at this. Wisdom. Look at how beautiful that structure is. A word like "you fool" becomes chaotic. Now, when I started looking at his research, and then I thought, I'm made of 99% water molecules, this became exciting. This is where the juicy drip starts. If the words I say and the thoughts I think are creating me, one molecule at a time, I get to choose. I get to choose if I want to be healthy, how I want to look. Do I want to be this beautiful crystalline structure? Or do I want to start aging in a chaotic state? My words and my thoughts are going to affect that. I grew up in a home where my dad's a pastor. And so, our motto was Jesus Christ, beans and rice. We didn't have a lot, but we had a lot of love, and we had a lot of prayer. And I remember I used to pray to God when I was a little girl and ask him, well, if you know everything, then why do I need to pray to you? I mean, you already know it all, right? It just didn't make sense to me. And I always had so many questions in the back of my mind about the Bible. And when I went back into the PhD program and started learning about things at the subatomic level and how things are coming together and how our words and our thoughts, sound is the beginning of all matter, right? All matter starts with sound. Just like in the Bible, God spoke and we became this beautiful creation that we are. So, I got so excited when I was going through my own health struggles at a young age, and I was drinking all the green juices, working out, doing all the things that everyone told me to do, and I still felt really sick. Migraines, nausea, constipation, acne, all the things that we don't really want. And I felt like I couldn't get to where I wanted to go with my health until I started to observe my thoughts. I wasn't aware of the fact that every morning I'd wake up, I had this overwhelming anxiety that I wasn't good enough, that I need to work harder to be loved, to be enough, to be known. And when I started to observe this, a lot of us aren't even aware that we have this, right? We're just going. I mean, in this room, I see a lot of badass entrepreneurs. We didn't get to this place for no reason. A lot of us got here because we didn't feel like we were enough, and we need to prove who we were, right? Am I right? So I'm the same way. It was like I was just spinning my wheels, trying to do whatever I could to feel like I was enough, and I was sick. on the outside, you wouldn't think that. Everyone said I was the healthiest person that they knew, but I didn't feel that way. And when I started to learn about the body of water that I am and how my thoughts and my words are creating who I am, my whole life changed. Those green juices started to work for me. When I'd wake up in the morning and the first thing I did was thank God that I had a bed to sleep in, that I had legs to carry me to the bathroom, that I had breath in my lungs. And I started to imagine every single water molecule coming together in a beautiful crystalline formation. And I felt empowered. I was like, I get to do this. Every morning I wake up now, my life is different. I don't wake up thinking about what I need to do to be better. I wake up thinking, I am so grateful that I get to do this life. So we get to choose our words. When we choose wisely the words that we say and the thoughts that we think, they become our reality. I always heard this, right? I'm sure you've heard it, but it seemed so esoteric for me. And I thought, okay, whatever. I mean, that's like for the woo-woo crystal people, that worship their crystals or whatever. I mean, that's what I was raised. My mom and dad wouldn't even let me have a crystal in my home. It was like voodoo. But when I realized that, wait a minute. Crystals are like an antenna. They send and receive information. There's nothing wrong with a crystal. A crystal's just transmitting and receiving. And that's what we are. We're a crystalline structure. We're transmitting and receiving information all the time. The people that you are around, that are talking to you, that are speaking into you, are they speaking life into you? Or are they speaking death? I get to choose now. You know what? I'm not sure I want to be a part of this conversation. When someone's gossiping about another person or not talking well of another person, my whole biofield, I can feel it now. It starts to crash. I don't feel good. I start to get a little headache. I don't feel well. When you start to become more aware of the vibrations around you, you choose differently. So now I love to be around people like you guys that are talking positive, that are excited. Hey, where are we going next? What are we doing? I'm excited about this day, and I'm excited to be with you. So Kirsten Duhslander, I have a podcast. It's called Hydrate. And people actually asked me when I started the podcast, they're like, how are you going to talk about water for like hundreds of episodes? And I thought, how can I not? Like when you really start to understand it, the more I've learned about water, the more humbled I've become. Like I know nothing. I mean, it's like kind of trying to talk about God. The more you try to uncover it, the more it becomes very, very humbling. So Kirsten Duhslander is a researcher, a water researcher as well, and she says that good water is the best and most underestimated remedy in medicine. And I 100% believe that. After having a wellness clinic for 17 years, I will tell you, I put people on the most amazing protocols. I've had the most outstanding doctors that I've shadowed under and learned under and looked at their protocols and helped, try to mimic them. But one day I woke up and I was like, this is so complicated. People are taking so many pills and trying to do so many things. And I was like, what about if I just brought people back to the basics? Like, what kind of water are you drinking? Are you taking your shoes off and grounding to the earth so that that water can be charged up? Are you getting sunlight so that that full spectrum sun can help structure that water inside of you? Are you speaking words that are life? Are you getting hugs from people? Are you connected to community? These kind of things. So I came up with these 9 pillars of health. And I go, you know what? I'm not going to sell anything anymore. Every patient that comes in for the next year, I'm just going to ask them what kind of water they're drinking. I'm going to tell them to take their shoes off and walk on the beach. Get some sunlight, get out of this toxic light right here. This is like fast food lighting right here. This is like McDonald's that we're in right now. But anyways, I'm like, let's go outside. And so I could not believe the changes. I've had people from stage 4 cancer, people that had fibromyalgia, for a woman 20 years who had fibromyalgia. The only thing I changed was her water and asking her to walk on the beach. She comes back to me 30 days later with tears in her eyes, and she said, Tracy, I couldn't even put my clothes on in the morning. My husband had to help me put my pants on because I was in so much pain. I couldn't put the covers over my body at night because it hurt so much. She goes, I'm 90% better. I have my life back. I didn't give her one pill. I didn't sell her one biohacking thing. I just changed her water. And I bet you're going to want to know what kind of water that was, right? Ken knows, right, Ken? The first time we met, that was our first conversation. What kind of water are you drinking? All right, so what kind of water should you be drinking? So it's funny because on my Instagram, I probably get hundreds of messages every day, and people are like, it's literally a photo of them in the grocery store, like, which water should I drink? Let's just make it simple. Filtered water is chaotic. Those molecules I showed you in the beginning of the water, they're just bouncing everywhere. They're chaotic. But guess what? We have a divine creator who does everything perfectly. And in nature, spring water is naturally mineralized as it goes through the rock formations, and it's vortexing. It's spinning. And what's happening when it spins? That left and right spin, it's deleting all of that negative information and even caustic, toxic chemicals, and it's drawing in living frequencies. So spring water is naturally crystalline structured water. Gerald Pollack at the University of Washington was a researcher that discovered the fourth phase of water. So you know that water has three phases: liquid, vapor, solid. But Gerald Pollack discovered that there's a fourth phase. That's us. My cells are made of fourth phase water. Your cells are fourth phase water. So when you drink that H2O, your body's working hard. Every hydrophilic surface is working hard, using energy to structure that water so that it's gelatinous. It's a gel-like structure in your cells. And that's what makes you this crystalline structure. But when you drink spring water, your body doesn't have to work as hard to convert it because it's already crystalline structured. So guess what? This is where the juice is. This preserves energy so that your body can use that energy for nicer hair, glowy skin, more energy, athletic performance, sexual performance, sleep, all the things that we want, just by switching your water. So I don't know what you're drinking at home. If you're drinking filtered water from the refrigerator or you're drinking tap water, I'm about to change your life today. Okay? And I'm not telling you anything. I'm just telling you some really awesome information. So, you know, a lot of people go to Costco and they buy this Kirkland water. Well, just look on the back. What does it say? Filtered water. That's another word for filtered tap. You're drinking tap water. So I love to buy water that's vortexed and crystalline structure made by nature. A glass bottle's even better. Why? Yes. And plastic, what does it do? I mean, like, water is the greatest solvent there is, so it's drawing anything that it's touching. It's drawing, first of all, that energetic information, also the chemistry from that plastic bottle, so it's no good. But I have another tip for you. Plants make crystalline structured water too. They have cells, just like we do. And they take the water that they're getting watered with, and they take that water and they convert it into crystalline structure as well. So that's why juicing's so amazing. I love juicing. Every morning I juice celery juice because I'm getting the light energy, the crystalline structured water, and I just feel my skin glowing thinking about it. But I love to have botanicals. So I love to have cucumbers and watermelons in the summer and strawberries. And so don't be afraid of those because I know all this like carnivore crap. They're like, don't have any plants, right? And trust me, I've tried it. And I do get my protein in, okay? I need my gains. But I need to eat this structured water as well because one apple and a glass of water is more hydrating than 2 glasses of water. Okay? So let's get our fruit and vegetables in every day along with our water. So, like I talked about, the 9 pillars of health, I'm going to go through these because these are the pillars that really transformed my wellness practice. And I just wrote a book called Hydrate, and it goes through these 9 pillars because this is what I felt was in the community of health and biohacking we were missing. Sometimes, have you ever felt not well and you're like, I better go to the doctor and get my blood tested? Better get my urine or whatever pathology to see what's going on with me. We want to be diagnosed. It's like I want someone to tell me this like name so that I can have a name for it and tell everyone I've got this or that. Well, first of all, when you say that, like the C word, you are imprinting your body of water with that word. Do you notice how people identify with that? Like, I've got, or my, I don't even want to say it because, but you know what I'm saying? The diseases, they like identify with them. Don't do that anymore. Don't identify with it. That's not you. So I decided that I was like, okay, let's go back to the basics here because I really believe that people are just missing the basics and they're focusing too much on all the stuff. So hydration obviously is number 1 because we're made of 99% water molecules. And then minerals is the second one because when you look at, say, a crystal, for example, what makes a crystal a crystal? It's made of minerals, right? So if we want our cells to create this crystalline structure, we need minerals, and we need them in perfect balance. René Quinton was a French researcher in 1895, and he discovered that our blood plasma is identical to the ocean's plasma. All 78 trace elements in the ocean are in perfect proportion to exactly the way our blood plasma should look. And I say should because most of us are missing one of those trace elements. Those are the building blocks for life, for biogenesis. To build new healthy cells, we need these minerals in perfect balance. My grandmother is 93 years old and she has diabetes. So you know when you have diabetes, if you get injured, it's really difficult for that to heal. She had this wound on her foot for 2 years. And the doctor said, you know what, it was on her toe. And he said, if this doesn't heal in the next couple months, we're going to have to amputate the toe. And she'd already had 2 toes amputated. So I said, hold on, let me give her some Quinton water. 10 days she took this water and it scabbed over and healed. She was just missing one of the building blocks for life, a simple mineral. I get excited when I talk about this because it's like our health doesn't need to be complex. Sometimes we're just missing something really simple. I almost lost my daughter when I was pregnant for her. I was 24, and I had a simple mineral imbalance that went undetected by every doctor. I didn't look pregnant. I had no stomach. I was like a size 0, no amniotic fluid. A lot of people would think, oh, that's great, but it actually wasn't because my daughter didn't have any fluid to grow in. And so at 35 weeks, we had to have an emergency cesarean. I didn't know that it was because of a mineral imbalance, so my body couldn't create this amniotic fluid. And by the way, that amniotic fluid is the same thing as the ocean's plasma. Should have all 78 trace elements in perfect balance. I was missing some of those elements, so my body couldn't create it. And I was severely dehydrated. My eyes were dry, my mouth was dry. I felt horrible. So that's why I say minerals are really important. I love Quinton minerals because they come from the ocean in perfect balance. And they're really studying this on the battlefield with soldiers that instead of having to take blood to the battlefield, now they can take this Quinton, put it inside of you, and your body will build its own red blood cells from the plasma. So this is really exciting, advanced research. René Quinton, actually, in 1895, he took a dog, and he drained the blood out of the dog. And he right when the dog was about to expire, he infused this Quinton minerals back, and the dog came back to life. They did the same thing recently. Quinton Labs did a research with a pig. So they took this pig and they drained the blood out, put Quinton in. When it was about to expire, the pig came back to life. They did the same thing, but with the pig's own blood. They drained the blood, put it back in, and the pig still died. So what we've discovered is the ocean's plasma, there's not just the chemistry of the ocean that matters, but there is a living signature inside of the ocean that we have not yet uncovered exactly what it is. Only God knows what that is, but it's a divine intelligence. And these Quinton minerals are derived from the plankton bloom deep in the ocean's floor. So it's not like some people think, well, maybe I could just go drink some ocean water. It's not the same. Nutrition. We need to be getting nutrition. A lot of us are overfed and undernourished, right? We're eating a lot of calories, but we're not getting that nutrient-dense food. So whenever I eat food, I'm always thinking, like, how is this going to fuel me? That's what matters. Because I want to feel good. I want to look good. I want to bring the energy. And when I eat food that is high in calories but low in nutrition, I don't feel good. I don't have a lot of energy. I don't look good. The next thing is movement. Now, what's interesting is our fascial system is the irrigation system of our body. So all of the water that you're drinking is not going to hydrate your tissues unless you're moving. So I try to move everything. Like I'm moving my fingers on the airplane, like my neck. People look at me like I'm crazy, but I got to move it all. Even in the morning when I wake up, I do face yoga. Got to get that hydration to the skin, you know. Sunlight. Sunlight is the forgotten nutrition. The reason why we eat plants is because they're filled with the light energy, and they're giving us that light energy. So every minute that plant is off the vine, it's losing that energy. So that's why getting fresh from the farmer's market is really important. And then going out in the sun. The first 15 minutes of sunlight and the last 15 minutes of light are the most nutritious, and they are also the least in thermal heat, so you're not going to burn. So I love to wake up, set my circadian rhythm, watch the sunrise, and watch the sunset. Those are the best moments of my day. Love it. And then grounding. Do you guys ever take your shoes off and ground to the earth? Yes? Okay, I love you over there. Yes, we're friends. We need to talk. So just take your shoes off today on the break at lunchtime. Take those shoes off. Go sit in the grass. I'll meet you there. And we're going to charge up because the earth is donating free electrons. We all love free, right? It's donating these free electrons that are charging the body of water that you are. You charge your cell phone every night, right? You wouldn't forget to do that. You've got to charge your cells every day, and the earth is charging those cells. So we need to do that. The next I say is creative playtime. This is really important to me. Anybody that knows me and has been to my house, I have trampolines, I've got balance beams, I've got Indian clubs, I mean everything so that people can come and it's a creative play space. I even built an adult tree house. It's like this, when did we lose this verb for life and the desire to play? Remember when you were a kid and you used to invite your friends over, what would you say? You want to come over and play? When did we stop saying that? I say that to everybody now. I'm like, come play. Come to my house. Let's play. People are like, wait, what? Ken, you've been over my house to play. So connected community is important too. That's why we're all here. This is important because our frequencies are creating a vortex. Together. We can't do it alone. We need each other. And then, of course, the next is sleep. You can do all of these pillars, but if you're not sleeping, they're not going to work for you. So thank you so much for listening to my TED Talk. Appreciate it.
Come on, Tracy Duhs, guys.
Thanks.
Guys, let me tell you something. I have some unbelievable friends. I've said it, and I've been in her treehouse. I literally have been in her treehouse in San Diego. I'm like, as soon as I got there a couple weeks ago, I'm like, okay, I've got to see the treehouse. And so we went to the treehouse. Guys, listen, she is absolutely brilliant. You've got to follow her. Listen to her podcast. She's amazing. Tracy Duhs, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, girl.
Thank you.
Love you. I'm down there. I'm sitting there listening to her, and I'm like, oh my God, she's so good. How many of you guys enjoyed that? How many of you guys have ever heard anybody talk about what she just talked about? Insane. It's absolutely insane.